Hey everybody, this is Mike. Welcome back to Express Counseling, and today we're going to talk about what I'm calling problem-free therapy. Now, what exactly does problem-free therapy really mean? Well, it means, is there really a problem, or is it a manufactured problem? So let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a couple of examples to illustrate this point. If a person wants to move into, I'm here in New York City. If a person wants to move to, let's say, the Upper East Side because that's where Sex and the City was filmed, or a person wants to move to the Village, where Friends was filmed, and it costs $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and in order to do that, they have to go into debt, or not move there and save the money. There's no problem. Either you move there and get into debt, or you don't move there and save money. It's not a problem. Now, there's a dilemma. Which do you choose? But there's not really a problem because there's an answer, right? You may also have feelings about it, like I should be able to do both, live there and save money, or I can't stand that I have to make this choice. But there's no problem, right? You can't do both. You can't move there and save money. Well, unless you can. But how many people are in that position? Here's another example. I want to eat whatever I want. I'm a big foodie. I want to eat every night and every day. I want to eat fattening foods, good foods, pasta and cakes and all that stuff. And I want to lose weight and be healthy and have endurance and have a good physique. No, you can't do both. Literally, there's no problem because you cannot do both. There's no problem. The answer is no, you can't do both. There's a dilemma. Which do I do? Do I eat the way I want to eat, or do I eat healthier and be in a good shape, or somewhere in between? But there's not really a problem. There's a problem here. For example, I shouldn't have to make this choice. I can't stand that I have to make this choice. Or, how do I make the choice, right? Or is there some kind of compromise? But it's not really a problem except in your own mind. It's a manufactured problem. I'll give you another example. You're a parent and you have two kids, and they have an after-school activity that's on the same day at the same time. Well, I have a problem. How am I physically present at both activities? Well, that's not a problem. You can't be. There's no problem. In here it's a problem. There's no real problem. You cannot do both. Period. End of discussion. The dilemma is, which one do I go to? And maybe can I have someone videotape it and I can watch it live or record it or what, but you cannot physically be in two places at the same time. There's no problem. You cannot do it. The dilemma is, how do I choose which one to go to? Also, the problem could be, I can't stand that I have to pick one. It's awful. I'm a bad parent. I shouldn't have to make. That's really the problem. But there's no real problem. And I'll give you one last example. I want to succeed in my business. I want to be the genius that Steve Jobs is. Well, that kind of genius is like 1 in a billion, right? So if you are that great and brilliant, fantastic. And I need to be as good as Steve Jobs and brilliant in order to move up in my company and be an executive. If you're not as brilliant as Steve Jobs, the answer is no. You can't do it. There's no problem. The problem is, well, that's what I want, but you can't. Right? Not everyone is as brilliant as someone. And if that's what's required to get to be in that position, if it is, and it may not be, but if it is, I need to be as brilliant as Steve Jobs in order to become a top executive at a company. And I'm not, then there's no problem. You cannot be that top executive. Now, what if I can learn how to do it? Okay, if you can learn how to do it, great. But what if you can't? What if it's not about learning, it's just natural ability and you just don't have that ability? Well, then you can't do it. There's really no problem. The answer is no, you can't do it. What if I could take training and really be good? Okay, I could take training, but I can't afford the training. And I don't have the time. Maybe it requires 10, 12, 14-hour days, and I have a family, and I want a work-life balance. Then again, there's no problem. You can't do it. you can't afford it, or you don't have the time because you want a work-life balance. There's no problem. You're making up problem. The problem is, yeah, but I really want it. Yeah, well, either you take time away from your family and you beg, borrow, and steal for money, or you don't. But there's no real problem. There's a dilemma. What do I do? Or how do I accept that I can't? And say, I have to, I should, I must, it's awful that I can't. Okay, you may want to, because of ego, you may want to challenge that. But there really, in these cases that I'm giving you, there's no real dilemma. There's desires, there's wants, there's low frustration tolerance, there's the tyranny of the shoulds, I should do this, catastrophizing. But there's an answer. There is no real objective problem. There's just dilemmas and low frustration about not being able to do what you want to do. Now, what would be an example of a real problem? Well, I have social anxiety. And I want to go out and meet people, but I'm really nervous and scared. Well, that's a problem. Now, of course, you need to overcome it by, again, engaging in, maybe you have some lack of social skills, right? Maybe you dominate a conversation, or you stand too close to people and they feel uncomfortable. Maybe the cognitive piece, you think nobody likes me, they won't want to talk to me. Yeah, but that's a problem, and it could still be worked through, but that's the difference between a real problem and a manufactured problem. So ask yourself, what really is the problem? Whenever you're confronted with something, what exactly is the problem? And is it really a problem? I mean, you may not like it. Again, the problem is I want to live somewhere that I really can't afford without going into debt. Then it's not a problem. You either do it and go into debt, or you don't do it. It's really the dilemma as to which choice you pick. But it's not really a problem, right? If someone said, my problem is I can't fly like Superman, that's not a problem. People can't fly like Superman. It's not a problem. You may be frustrated about that. You may wish you could, but it's not really a problem because nobody can do that. It's a manufactured problem in your own head, but it's not a real problem. So again, when you're looking at your issues, see if this really is a problem, an objective issue, or is it really more of a dilemma? Is it more of, I don't know what to do, or I know what the answer is, but I'm frustrated because I don't like the answer, and I wish I had a better answer. Those are different, okay? So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, give a like or subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. All right, take care.